Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well and enjoying the weekend. So to start off the video, I'm just gonna go through what I learned from chapters 12, 13, and 14. I just have them in a bullet point format, so I'll just read those. So I learned that seagrasses are permanently submerged in water, so this makes them true marine plants. Halophytes can tolerate some exposure to seawater, but not for prolonged periods of times, and mangroves are land plants that can also tolerate some seawater to some degree. Plankton in the ocean are categorized by their size. So from smallest to largest, it's picoplankton, nanoplankton, microplankton, and macroplankton, which you can kind of tell from the prefixes what order they were in or how big or small they're going to be. Phytoplankton use solar energy to generate oxygen and organic food, and zooplankton consume other organisms. Blooms of phytoplankton happen when phytoplankton biomass increases more rapidly than can be balanced with lost processes such as death. So pretty much they grow faster than they die. So blooms happen in areas where there are plenty of nutrients and plenty of sunlight. So the zooplankton are broken down into two categories, holoplankton and meroplankton. Holoplankton spend their entire lives as plankton, but on the other hand, meroplankton, as they become adults, they belong to the necton and benthos families, which are fish or sea stars and crabs. A definition that I saw was a virus, which I thought was fitting. So a virus is a non-cellular particle composed of genetic material surrounded by a protein coat, and viruses affect all life in the ocean. Their abundance, or the viral abundance, is correlated with planktonic biomass. So larger animals such as whales or baleen, the krill provide food for the baleen, and then the whales gulp the water, but then they expel the krill through the baleen. Necton include both vertebrates and invertebrates. So for the necton, it's fish dominated. So there are three types of fish: jawless fish such as lampreys, cartilaginous fish such as sharks and rays, and bony fish, which is the majority of fish in the waters. These necton must be able to find food, avoid predators, and reproduce. Alright, and then it got to a part about sea turtles. I love turtles so much, I don't know why. But you can differentiate sea turtles and land turtles. You just have to look at their front limbs, because sea turtles' front limbs have been modified so they can swim. And then also sea turtles can't retract their head into their shells. So the green turtles occupy 3 different habitats throughout their lifetime. So they start at high energy beaches where the female lays the eggs, and the eggs are incubated for a period of time, and they hatch and walk to the ocean. But this part of life can be very dangerous because the turtles are susceptible to human activity, other animals. It's possible they don't make it to the water, which is really sad to think about, but it does happen. And then the second place is open ocean convergence zones. So this is like, I guess I kind of thought about it as like high school for us. Like, they're growing up, they're still juveniles, so they're like hanging out with each other. I don't know. And then the last place is shallow coastal areas, and they mostly are there during adulthood. So back to the necton. Fish sometimes swim in schools, and schools have benefits. So schools can confuse predators. They can help fish save energy by swimming with the other fish. And then also it helps increase reproductive success, which is good. And then it talked about sea otters. I also love otters. They're very cute. So it says sea otters are considered keystone predators in kelp forests, and keystone predators are organisms that play a crucial role in an ecosystem. So sea otters are very important to kelp forests. All right. And then the book gave examples of types of organisms that live in the different zones in the sea. So the supralittoral zone, you will find limpets and snails. The midlittoral zone is home to barnacles, mussels, snails, and shore and hermit crabs. And then the lower littoral zone, which is the place that's closest to the shore, is home to sea stars, sea urchins, and sea cucumbers. Tropical coral reefs are the most diverse and complex of all marine communities. Corals are very slow growing and they come in all different shapes and sizes. The reef crest is the highest point of the reef and it can be exposed during low tides. Unfortunately, the bleaching of coral reefs has become way more frequent in the past 30 years. I touched on this in my current event group. It's very concerning and very sad to see something that was once so beautiful become bleached or dead, and like there's nothing that I personally can do single-handedly to save the coral reefs, but I really wish that it would just take one person to save them. That would be awesome. So bleaching can occur when temperatures are too high or too low. So global warming is a big part of the problem. It can be a result of bacterial infections, drops in salinity in the waters, extreme light, and toxins. Humans are also a very big threat to coral reefs. So careless divers may step on a coral or multiple corals and break them. Boats drag their anchors or ground their anchors, and that damages the corals. And things like deforestation increase the runoff into the waters, which is toxic to the corals. So there were a few things that I found interesting in the chapters. I think it was the second or third sentence in chapter 12. It says, about half of the oxygen we breathe comes from phytoplankton. Didn't know that. I thought it was cool that swimming marine invertebrates have a wide range of bioluminescence and coloration, so this allows them to change color and disappear. And I think it's really cool to just like come across videos, I really like search mode, but come across videos of organisms changing colors or camouflaging themselves. I really love that. I thought it was interesting that schooling may confuse predators. I mean, I see like where that comes from, and I guess, I don't know, I just didn't think that like predators would get confused, but I guess they do. I found the whole section of sharks interesting. I just love sharks. I think they're scary, but they're cool, and I think it's really cool that they have skeletons that are made of cartilage. So like if I like feel my ear right here, like the end of my nose, like that's what a shark feels like. Not really, but like kind of. It's cool. And then I liked reading about echolocation. I just think that's really awesome that that's how they communicate, like we communicate with our words. So it was cool. Some things I want to know more about are sharks. I love sharks. Love learning about them, reading about them, watching videos. The book mentioned there are 460 species of sharks, but scientists are still finding more today. I think that's awesome. I think I know like 20 species of sharks, so I could definitely do some research on that. The book, I think there was 1 or 2 sentences about sand dollars, and I have sand dollars. Like I used to go to Florida, my grandparents used to go to Florida, and they would buy like these little information, like they look like an index card, but it's information about sand dollars, and there's like sand dollars like attached to the packaging, which I kind of feel bad about it now because they were alive, but you know. And then I would also like to know more about bleaching. I just think it's a really important topic, and I think all things having to do with global warming, climate change, like the environment deteriorating are very important for people to know about. And so I know in my current event group, some people had not heard of bleaching before. So I think that that's a thing that people could use more education on, and we could definitely bring more light to. And yeah, so my questions are, I'll probably post these in the discussion board, just so you know. So 1, what is the difference between primary production, gross primary production, and net primary production? Number 2, what is a keystone predator, and who are the keystone predators in kelp forests? Or like, just give one example of keystone predators in kelp forests. It was in the book. They're very cute. It's a hint. And then there are 2 types of zooplankton. Name them, and then you can describe them if you want, but you don't have to. Okay, well, that's all.